Following up on my previous video, linked in the description, I wanted to develop a juicier breach farming setup that remains efficient while significantly boosting profitability. In this guide, I'll break down the full setup in the following order: rolling maps, rolling precursor tablets, setting up towers, configuring the Atlas passive tree, and finally, analyzing the revenue per map, including the average quantity and rarity. Let's get started. The most time-consuming part of this strategy is rolling the maps, so we'll start there. The goal is to maximize quantity and rarity while filtering out inefficient maps. Gather a batch of Tier 14 and Tier 15 maps as your base. Identify all maps. Apply Orbs of Alchemy to any normal, weight maps. These will highlight when you right-click the Alchemy orb in your inventory. Any blue, magic, maps should first be augmented with an Orb of Augmentation to fill their modifiers, then upgraded to rare with a Regal Orb. Type gold in the search filter and set aside any maps that have increased gold found. These will not be used. Search for maps with quantity to items found in the filter. Use exalted orbs on these until they have 6 modifiers. Keeping quantity in the search filter, find maps with a high rarity roll. You want at least 60% rarity, but some will roll much higher. Use the Regex filter provided in the video description to find maps with 60% plus rarity and slam them with exalted orbs. Double-check for gold and remove any maps that have it. Then, verify that all remaining maps have both quantity and high rarity. Finally, instill these maps with Distilled Paranoia for 45% increased rare monsters. You can stop here or also vol them for extra potential, though this risks bricking some maps. These will be the maps you run. Next up, we need to prepare some breach precursor tablets. Use Orbs of Transmutation and Augmentation on breach tablets and look out for 15% plus quantity. If none appear, use the Forge to combine 3 leftover tablets into one and try again. You only need enough tablets to achieve maximum overlap in the region you're farming. One of the toughest parts of running the Atlas is optimizing your pathing and deciding which maps to clear when reaching towers. To simplify this, follow these guidelines. Identify bad maps, e.g. Crypt, Augury, and mark them in red. These should be cleared as soon as possible. Mark maps that are okay but not ideal in orange. These should be avoided if possible but can be run if necessary. The best pathing strategy is to move directly to the next tower while following a pre-planned route. Once you reach a tower, clear any nearby bad maps to ensure they don't clutter your future routes. Plan your next route out of the area before placing your breach precursor tablet. By following this method, you don't need to worry about always having 9 to 10 range tablets. Instead, you can manage effectively with 5 to 7 range tablets, reducing unnecessary waste. Since we are only running 15% plus quantity tablets, this strategy helps maximize efficiency with fewer tablets needed. Ensure you have a large cleared region on your Atlas map so that the maps you intend to run have the maximum number of towers overlapping them. Place your 15% plus quantity breach tablets in these towers for the best results. Before running the maps, let's go over the Atlas passive tree setup. For a more relaxed playstyle, I recommend taking Sustained Siege, which gives you more time to clear the breach. Alternatively, if you prefer a more intense experience, you can select Grasping Hands, which adds magic packs to the hands in the breach as well as adding 50% additional hands. Okay, let's run the maps and see if we can increase our currency gains. With maps, tablets, and towers fully optimized, the next sections will cover the results and break down the revenue per map, including the average quantity and rarity. Stay tuned. Alright, so I recorded some key drops across 30 maps, and this will give us a good idea of the fairly consistent loot I was getting. I also tracked the quantity and rarity of each map as I was running through them. For reference, I've got 223% player rarity on my character. Let's break down the averages from these 30 maps, on average, my maps were getting around 190 quantity and 197 rarity. As for the drops, I averaged 69 breach splinters and 40 simulacrum splinters. In terms of general currency, I was pulling around 26 exalts for chaos orbs, and about half a divine orb per map. These numbers give a solid idea of what I was consistently pulling from these maps. Now, keep in mind that this doesn't include items like sapphire rings and stellar amulets, which I'll add into the total calculation later. These drops definitely make a difference. After I liquidated everything into divines and exalts, I ended up with 36 divines and 226 exalts. That comes out to about 1.2 divines per map in pure revenue. But here's the important part, this is all about revenue. If you're looking to compare this to your own situation, remember to factor in the extra costs. For example, I had 3 distilled paranoias, plus the costs of rolling maps and breach tablets. In my case, I didn't have to buy new breach tablets, they were left over from my last breach farming, so my costs were really minimal. So, that's the breakdown. Hopefully, that gives you a good idea of how the loot stacks up and the revenue I was making from these 30 maps. And please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content and want to see more farming breakdowns.